Okay. So this is
This
going to
call
be
is
our
now being recorded.
yeah. So this is now the formal record of our first meeting, and I will put this, including the link, to our YouTube channel, so you can fairly watch more of those videos there. Okay. So good afternoon, and let's see. In about 5 minutes' time, if nobody comes in, then we'll start the presentation. It's just a short presentation. I just summarized the Stoic 101 philosophy. It's inside our FB page, but it's better to get it summarized so that we'll just get the important part of that into a presentation and we'll just post it there. Okay. So let's start the ball rolling. Okay. Let's do the entire screen. Okay. And we share. Okay. Okay, guys, can you see the presentation and audio is clear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So everybody, welcome to
Yes.
Stoic Philippines. Okay. So as the name itself, this is our first meeting for Stoic Philippines, April 29. This is going to be 2 to 3. And let's see if there's somebody going to join and start asking questions later. Now, what is actually this is coming from the Stoic Philosophy 101 given by our global team. I'm not pretty sure if they're based in Canada or just based in the USA, but the biggest number of Stoics or houses of Stoics is based in North America. So as a beginning thing, the Stoic philosophy is actually a Greek philosophy based in based in based in Greece, or based in Rome or Italy. So that's part of European hemisphere, and this philosophy has been around for 2,000 years. Okay, and this philosophy was developed by Zeno. Okay, first and foremost by Zeno, and then Seneca, and then afterwards it becomes Marcus Aurelius, the real Marcus Aurelius, not something from Gladiator film, but we'll discuss about that because there is something about that Gladiator film made by made in the year 2000, made in year 2000. It was a hit, but then there was some fiction with it. So we are pursuing virtues of wisdom, which we use in everyday life, courage to talk to people and manage them, and temperance, trying to hold back anger, okay, and justice, wherein everybody will be treated fairly, okay. So I put the names here of Robert Greene and Ryan Holiday. I'm not pretty sure if do you know these persons, Grammy? Have you heard of these names, Robert Greene and Ryan Holiday?
Ryan, yes. Robert Green, I'm not so familiar with.
Okay, let me talk about Robert Greene and how do I really went to Stoic. You see, Robert Greene is an award-winning author. He has written a great book called 48 Laws of Power, wherein part of that book explains certain people who have been using these kinds of philosophies, and one of them is also being Stoic. So Robert Greene is actually the mentor of Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday writes everything about Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, including everything. Some of the videos that I've been sending through FB comes from Ryan Holiday because Robert Greene does not really invoke much of the philosophy of Stoics, but his inspiration comes from Stoic people, those philosophers who lived 2,000 years ago. So remember these four pursuits of virtues that we want to learn. First is wisdom, second is courage, temperance, or what we call this anger management, control, self-control, discipline, and lastly is justice. So we hope that that thing will continue on. Okay, so this is what we're going to impart to our members. Okay, so we're talking about the founding principle. Man is by nature has the ability to seek reason and to understand, and every challenges that we face, we make things better. Okay, so we're not afraid of challenges. We're not afraid of talking. We would like to understand the world as it is, whether it's good or bad, whatever happens to us. But at the end of the day, we make our lives better. Okay, so we become better every day. That is a founding principle. And second, the generation of the Stoics, see, they have defined, developed, and expanded this concept into a formal school of thought. If you come about a certain person called Alain de Botton, he's a British French. He's a modern day scholar. He's also a modern day philosophy. And then he does this running uh, for school of thought or through YouTube also. It's called the School of Life, and he's teaching a lot about Stoics. But and I will share his Facebook and also his channel so that everybody can learn about it. It's a very good watching event, or it's a very good watching things that he explains, and explains with very much emphasis on what to do when things go wrong. Okay. And always remember that this is heritage, is a guide. It guides us to be better. It's not dogma. Okay. When we talk about dogma, this is the only thing in black and white. It's different here. It's a guide. When you say it's a guide, you can stretch it, you can modify it, you can make it better. So it's better. So it's always goes through a guide. It's not dogma. It is not black and white. You say when you say dogma, there's a lot of religious things there. But then at the end of the day, we cannot just stick to one. We have to modify. We have to use our critical thinking to make things better. Okay. And all points are open to debate. It means that we're open to discussion. Because the best way to learn is to learn from everybody on the peers or on the community. Okay. So we want to have a happier life. Of course, that is the number one thing every human wants, is to be happy. End of the story, isn't it? But there are a lot of things that makes us happy. So we have to understand that even in the most simplest way, we can be happy. Even in the most, even if we don't have much money, even if we're not famous, even if we're not that psychologically okay, or we have problems, we can still be happy. So that's because we chose to be happy. Okay, so those are the founding principle. I hope that we can still discuss on this later on. Okay, so what is good about Stoic? Okay, it is a way to think how we live. Okay, and how you help people live it. So it's not just about ourselves. It's a way of helping the community. That's why I like this philosophy. From success to significance. You might be a successful person, but if you don't see that or help your community, that success is kind of useless for me. So I always think about success to significance. Something that could affect yourself and also the community that you live in, on your peers. Okay. The way that you pull them up, you don't pull them down. So that's my philosophy and also in life. I pull up people, I do not pull them down. And you have to be responsible and accountable for everything you do. Okay. And it's also a way to understand what goals to set in order to help you live your best life. Not only goals, how to execute them. Okay. Goals are only dreams. And you when you just write your dreams, it does not happen. It's just writing on the wall. We have to execute. Okay. So that's something that also wakes me up every morning to have a goal and to execute it. Okay. And how do Stoics study it? Okay, how do we learn? Okay, first is by logic. That's why just a while ago we're talking about philosophy. We're talking about a way of living. How do we use reason to perform our duties well? How do we use process? How do we use analytics, just like Remy over here? How do we use the data, or how do we use the operations? That's like what Kit and also what Francis is doing. How do we use, for me also, how do I use this operations data to make the sites better? Okay. And physics, not really the whole subject, but then when we say physics, it is how the world works. Okay. how how broadcasting or how audio works is a science, isn't it? But then there's also a process on how we can make it better. And ethics, this is something, or good manners and right conduct. Okay, this is something missing even in the younger generations now. So we have to focus on ethics on how to live well. Okay. So everything is a school of thought, and also execution is the key. Okay. So when we talk of Stoic, we also talk about disciplines. This is discipline of assent of logic, ability to think critically, objectively, and logically. No subjectives, no emotions, not much of the emotional part. So we go straight to, if you were thinking about the process, how to make it better. Okay, not the feeling, not feeling how to give it a better crunch or what. No, but how to make it better. Critical, objective, and logic. Okay, and discipline of desire, training to accept the world as it is and focus on what's our control. What we control is something we can do part of. What is beyond our control is something we can just pray for that it will be good. Okay, because if there is some entity, higher entity than higher than us, doing a lot of things to make things difficult, then we'll try to counter it by getting better every day. So that's the physics behind. And then the discipline of action, ethics, or the way we execute. Okay, we practice to act well and just. If it's not going to be one way, meaning it is going to be just providing for me, or it's beneficial for me. It should be beneficial for all. Okay, that's a good discussion later. Okay, and let's talk about two important elements of how to run with Stoic philosophy. First is amor fati. Amor fati is actually the Latin word that means that whatever life throws at us, we are going to make it better, and yet accept the fate that if it doesn't be better, then we will try to adjust and modify it. Just like a blazing fire makes flame and the brightness out of everything that is thrown in it. If life has been throwing a lot of stones at you, a lot of hard work, a lot of uh, a lot of things, then we should be able to go through it with all our efforts and make things, because you see, when persons are subject, or maybe a diamond is subject to so much pressure, carbon is subject to so much pressure, when it comes out it becomes a diamond. It means it shapes you to become a better person. So that's about hardship that we have. Okay. And one thing, we do not seek for things to happen in the way you want them to, rather wish that what happens is going to be beneficial for all, then you will be happy. It might not be super beneficial for you, but if it will help the whole group, then it will be better for everybody. Okay. So that's amor fati. Whatever life throws at us, we accept it, but we make it better. Okay. That's amor fati. And this one is practically the most maybe controversial of all, because I'll also mention Steve Jobs in his speech for Stanford. I don't know if you have watched it how many times. When he was speaking at Stanford, he mentioned three things. He mentioned love, he mentioned his passion for technology, and he mentioned death. Okay, that is something that will make us. Is somebody trying to come in, guys? Guys, is there somebody trying to log in? I cannot see it. Eh. If you're, yeah, you can just admit him. Okay, no problem. Okay, just admit him. Okay. So this memento mori is very important, because it tells us something like this: if this were your last day, how will you live it? Okay, because they say that death is actually a great equalizer. When the old departs and the new comes in, so that's something that we have to think about, especially for, well, we're getting older. So when we get older, there's chance also that somebody from above might call our names tomorrow. But then we should take a look at what we can do today. If ever we're going to get called by the big guy upstairs, we can still do things better. Okay. So with that, that's my thank you. Okay. So thank you very much for listening in. Okay. So we will now, so Lernell says, Then I will stop presenting. Boing. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop presenting. Wait, where is Darnell? There you are. Darnell. Darnell.
He's muted.
It's mute. Maybe it's audio and it will come back.
Hello,
So,
hello.
hello,
Hi.
Darnell. Good afternoon. We
Good
are
afternoon.
joined with Christopher, Francis, Germain, who's in New Zealand, and Ronald, who's also in Binangonan, Rizal, just like me. We're from the east. So you can turn on your camera. You can turn on your video or your camera. It's okay because we have enough bandwidth. So, okay, let's start up with Grammy. Grammy, what do you say about those things that I've shown, especially those Stoic 101, the one that we have just talked about? Anything coming from Christchurch that you have done as a community?
That's really good to have the introduction like that. I used a similar one to present when I first started running online meetings here, which we were still having lockdowns when I started doing those meetings. So that would have been 2001.
Hmm.
And
Wow,
uh, yeah, so I
2001.
I kicked things off during Stoic Week. So I wanted to raise that because that's coming up in October. So a little bit of sorry, November this year. It's usually October, but it's 6th to the 12th of November. That's through modernstoicism.com. And that would be a good thing to encourage people around, promote that, get people involved with that, and then also offer your own things around that time as well. And what I did is I offered nightly check-ins for people to come along and talk about anything that was the topic of the day for the Stoic week. And I didn't have
Mhm.
too many people, but I did get random people coming in from Australia, particularly Melbourne at the time, because they'd been in lockdowns for a long time. Um, and so I was using meetup.com. Not sure if you're familiar with meetup.com. But that seems to be quite a good way to get people over and above Facebook. You get a different segment of people who are looking for things to do, and also promote meetings that are coming up, which means you might get some people arrive who don't even know anything about the topic, but it's a meeting starting soon and they were looking for something to do. Um, and so, depending what you're presenting, it's not a bad thing for people to have an introduction sort of anywhere in any of the philosophy of Stoicism. And even if they put it on the back burner for the next 10, 15, 20 years, they can return to it. So for me personally, I first heard of Stoicism probably 20 years ago, and I filed it away under something I'd look at later, which, that's the way it was. So I can't really criticize myself. But, from what I've found from it now, and I've been doing this maybe two years or so, um, I kind of do wish that I had found out about it earlier because there's so much valuable stuff around resilience. To me, that would be the real, one of the key modern terms to sum it up is resilience that you can learn, the amor fati, love your fate. Um, Not even so much just loving it, but as long as you're willing to accept that this is the reality, this is what's happening to me, um, then you can just keep always planning of what are you going to do now, what is within your control, um, and not be so distressed by the fact that things are, not going the way you'd like. So, small, simple example today: my daughter fell off her bike, um, grazed herself up, few bruises and bumps, and I was just able to stay calm throughout that. And these are the things that happen if someone's riding a bike; they can have an accident. Could be me next time. So, it's and I'll just let her go through being a kid, but I will talk to her a little bit about it and introduce some of the Stoic concepts around, understanding what happened, reflecting on what she could do differently, those kind of things. So I guess that's another thing to keep in there that is really powerful with Stoicism, and in lots of modern self help as well, is journaling and reflecting on your life, and that's one way to help work on things like the virtues. So you can go through what did you do today, um, or even if you only do it weekly, what did you do this week? Um, which of the virtues did you use and use well? Which do you need to improve? So, were you lacking a little bit in courage, or you weren't as moderate, didn't have temperance in some of your activities? And then wisdom, and it's a practical wisdom for the Stoic. Um, Probably in modern terms, almost calling it like street wisdom. You learn lots of stuff through sometimes the bad experiences, not just the good experiences. So reflecting on that, and reflecting on all those things in life, and looking at what you can do better. So it's not so much a judgmental thing. It's not saying I did bad. It's more so just what can you do to improve? What can you do to make your life better? And while I'm talking to the, this is what I do for me kind of thing, that is also a way to if you're making yourself a better person, you're making yourself better for the whole of the community. That's part of the reason for doing it. So that's where it starts to tie back together. But if you want to really help your community, then you kind of need to help yourself first. They talk about that in situations. If you're trying to save someone from drowning, you've got to make sure that you're safe first. You don't want them to drag you down, or you're both going to drown. So you need to, look after yourself first, get yourself into a position where you can be um, in a better position to help other people, help your community, and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's probably a very short introduction from me. Is there any questions from anyone?
For that, I find it kind of kind of good because you've been doing this since 2001. You've met these teachings or writings since 2001. Wow. And then but then there's a lag, and then you have only practices for the last 2 years, which is good. But then you never forgot it. It means that it's part of your heart and also your mind that you need to expand something. So that's good. And it's good because when you make yourself better, you also deal with the community and they see you as somebody who can they emulate. Okay. And then right now, somebody just went in. Darnell, can you introduce yourself and what are you doing right currently? What are you doing right now? And why did you join this group? It's not that I just invited you. So there might be some other reasons or some other things that you have experienced personally of Stoics. That's why you joined. Can you kindly tell us now?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for being late. I just came outside and I need to hurry back home. Anyway, I'm from Makati and I've known Sir Roy. He is my ex-colleague with Nokia before. And well, for the past 3 years that we all have experienced pandemic and there's a lot of things happened and our vision, our emotion, our understanding in life has been changed because of the pandemic. And now I believe for myself, I lost some motivation or some encouragement, some connection with people, with work, etc. because of these challenges. And although I've been talking with Sir Roy, we chat a lot in Facebook, and this invitation came in, and I became curious because, to be honest, I had no idea about this, and I found it motivation inspiring. That's why I joined the meeting or the group so that I could find something that could um, that I could motivate myself with the guidance and maybe some advices from professional people like Sarah. Thank you.
That's great, Darnell. Okay. As a reaction, Ronald, what's your reaction coming from what Grammy has shared with us on his experience with Christchurch in New Zealand?
I totally agree with the mindset that he is applying within himself because I also in my own personal belief also that one should be taking good care of himself also, in order to be able to help other people. You have to prepare yourself for challenges, and um, it's just being uh, ready enough, and being able to accept what life throws on you, and being able to understand what you can control and what you can't control. So being able to um, separate the things that you can control, you can definitely address it at any time. And once you've already identify the things that you can control, maybe you will be able to think about other ways to go around it, and try other approach. And so that being said, if we're able to help ourselves, then eventually we're able to help our situation, the situation of other people, and be able to help the communities that surround us.
Good, good. That's nice. Okay, let's move on to Kit. Kit, what can you say? Because you're also a deep thinker for the past 20 years, and this is also a time for you to release some of those thoughts, so that because our country is not in a very good situation. We're something like 20 years delayed compared to New Zealand, economy wise, technology wise, but then we're still here. We're still doing that. We're still not only hoping, but we're doing things, especially in the realm of technology, for us to improve. So, what can you say, Chris?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, to any, any knowledge about Stoicism, but I was encouraged by Sir Roy due to what I've read and to the hardships that comes in the way. Uh, so I think I need something or a way to learn and have more faith. Uh, because I've always been your kind of naughty. Sarah knows that I'm stubborn at times, but I think I'm doing well. But sometimes, like temper, anger management, sometimes I fail in that area. So that's one thing that I I what do you call this? I have to learn from Sir Roy because when we were together, when he was my manager, he showed temper at the very bottom end. I never saw him angry, or even though we challenges that our jobs so throw at us. Uh, so that's it.
Still, a-
Uh,
still a lot to
learn.
learn. Still a lot to learn,
Still a lot to
Kate.
learn.
You
Yeah.
see, you see in life, it sometimes comes to you freely. But then, since I was a small kid, or with Ronald in high school, I never get angry because it's very bad for me to get angry. I can do a it sometimes turns to so much violence or so much cussing if I get angry. So as early as life, it took me into high school and studying. I really made sure that I keep everything low, more to understanding rather than to the violent end. Okay, so that's something. But hope, but I still read about the lives of these tyrants. Anyway, I find them interesting. So I learn from them to keep calm. Okay, that's something that's why it's so aligned with the Stoic thing. Keep calm, be still, keep calm, accept, and move around and execute. That's all. Okay, Francis, your turn, my friend. What can you say? What can you react? Whether what Jamie and also the presentation has told us today.
Yeah, actually, before I joined the group, I don't have any idea about the team. So I did some short research on Google. So I just did some few bullets in there, and I was inspired by the word of Sir Grammy and Ronald, Sir Hitan. And I think I've been to different groups before. I was invited with different groups from a Mason to different fraternities to Rotaries. So it's something like when I heard Sir Grammy and Sir Ronald and the sharing of Sir Christopher, I just felt that this is the community that I was looking for since before.
Good, good, good. Actually, those things that you said regarding masonry and everything, that's something that you should also study. But then here it's more open because it's a philosophy. Masonry is different because it's a secret society. It's different what they do there, and they have certain reasoning skills that really reminds you that everything can be measured. In my entire life, nothing is practically, not everything is measurable. For them, too much of measuring or the G stuff or those, when you call this, those measuring sticks that they have together,
Mhm.
that's still kind of, it reflects that the way that they want is really pure science. But here, the way that we want is pure execution and not dogma. It's actually a, we can modify things. It's a guide. For them, that's dogma. I'm not accusing anything in here, but then um, I've also been invited twice to the group because they see something in specialties or certain not really talent, special qualities in me. But then I told them that if it's going to be purely reason and without faith, you can count me out because I always believe in a man called Saint Thomas Aquinas that reason and faith come together. That was,
True.
or that is one good thing. You cannot just isolate faith and isolate reason. It comes together because at the end of the day, there's somebody upstairs who still looks at us, who created us. So that's something that I will keep and be a stoic for life. Masonry, maybe that's something. Maybe the discipline is good, but the thinking of measuring everything doesn't sit well with me. I don't know about you, Grammy. Is everything measurable? What can you say about it?
Uh,
That's a very big question for me. Too
it's
much
a
reason.
good it's a good question, I guess. With the Stoicism, a lot of it is accepting that we live a quite a subjective life. So we do our own rational assessment of things, and as you're saying, without dogma, we have some guiding principles, such as the courage, wisdom, moderation or temperance, and justice,
Uh,
which is more about fairness and just following the law. So again, it's not about dogma, and some laws are unjust, um, not necessarily in our countries, but in the past. Um, so it's really think of justice around fairness, and are you treating other people fairly, not just other people, or are you obeying the law? Because there may be times where it might actually be rational to act against the law. Who knows? So that's where it becomes quite subjective, but based on rational, you know, thinking things through at the time about what's best to do both for yourself and for others in a situation. So, um, in that sense, I guess there's one thing around measurement is judgment, is having good judgment, but not that judgment that the Stoics advocate is not around good or bad, right and wrong so much, but it's about acting rationally. And are you acting in a rational manner? And then are you acting in a rational manner in accordance with the um, courage, justice, wisdom, and moderation? So, in a sense, it's sort of subjectively measured, but it's not having an objective measure because all situations are going to be different, and it's not, you know. And also, I mean, the key thing is to drop that moral judgment on good and bad,
mhm.
um, but look at it in much fairer ways. Mm. So,
That's good.
measurement of a sense, but much more of a subjective measurement, and certainly away from the dogma, as you're saying.
Yes. Yeah, because when you start measuring everything, that becomes dogma. You cannot follow everything by the book. There are things, there are relative things, and there are objective things and there are relative things that happen in life. You cannot just, and I just don't like calling people master. I don't know. I don't like that. They have this thing called master lodges and all so supreme things. You know, it's better to be called by your first name. That's being a stoic. We call ourselves by first name. We don't call ourselves with masters and everything. No, no, no. I don't like that. I don't know about you, Ronald. What do you say? Have you been invited before?
No, not yet. I have no idea how it works. Being in a masonry, so I have no idea. But I don't know. Maybe not.
Okay,
Now
okay.
that you're
Yeah,
saying
because
that they're about things that deals with they want to deal with things that can be measured. So I
yes.
right now I totally disagree with that. It's it's
Mhm.
it's just
Actually, guys,
saying it's just
I just want to clarify myself. I'm not a
Yeah,
member of Houston, but I was
yeah,
invited
yeah,
there
yeah. You've been invited.
for more than 15 years. So I just attend there if there have any special occasions. But I don't really, for some reason, I
You're not
don't
a
know.
member. No,
Yeah, not a member.
you were not accepted. You were not given some sort of baptize or rituals. So you're
No,
just a
no,
friend.
no,
You're
no,
just a
no.
friend. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
They're just inviting you as a friend. So it's okay as long as you don't go to their sacred rituals. That's different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for some reason I can explain that I don't have this feeling in my heart to what they call this to submit or to apply for what they call this membership on the group. So I just attended that if they have special occasion only.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, because they look in some organizations such as Masonry. They look at the background of the person, and they have to make sure that that person has very good intellect.
Okay.
They just don't invite. They if look for intellect. They look at your actions. They look at your background before they invite you. So these are usually they invite people of power, people of intellect. So that's something here. We don't look at that. We look at people who want to execute, who want to be better every day. That's why I belong here. We belong here. Okay. Simple invitations become membership. Then we build a community and we start doing projects, which is good, without without expecting anything in return. That's all. That's providing for the community through through seminars, through things, the things that I've been doing also with Richard. Richard is also Stoic, so that binds us together along with Robert Greene and Ryan Holiday. We believe in those people, especially those books. That's something that brought us together when we started talking, and plus the technology part. So we combined and we created these communities. But I spearheaded the Stoic. He spearheaded the karate stuff, but the discipline of the karate, that's him. I spearheaded this discipline of Stoics. I'm not much of a physical person, so I don't go. Maybe if I were physically fit or so much physically fit, then I should have joined his karate stuff. But no, that's different. That's the main difference between me and Richard. But at the end of the day, we all go for one thing common, which is knowledge. Knowledge is supposed to be given to people so that we empower them. Education, one of the biggest things that the Philippines needs education so that we become a better nation. Nation building. Okay, that's true, Grammy. You're quite lucky because in New Zealand there are more sheep than people. So when you earn, there's more profitability. That's the same thing. That's one thing that I saw in the newspaper when I was in Sydney. What do we do with our excess? Excess $2 billion. So sabi, wow, this is quite good news. I never here when in the Philippines. What do we do with our 45 billion debt? So that's the big difference. So maybe there's a lot of improvement that we can do as Filipinos and as a country here. More, maybe we're going. Maybe in my dream, in the next generation, they'll be talking about excess, not anymore of debts. That's the biggest thing that could happen because of good movements or good communities that spring out from good communities or good memberships. Okay. Anything more? Anything, Darnell? You're the last one who came in, so maybe you should have more inputs now. Habola.
Actually, just to add up with regards to masonry, although I'm aware of their existence, but I never thought that they have this, such kind of background about measuring, etc. But for me, measuring is not. I don't like also the idea of measuring, because as if you are like questioning the power of our creation, that you only have, that you are giving a limitation of what kind of blessing or um, spiritual advices that our creator can give us. But although I'm not very much aware with their background, but whatever is their policy or rules in their group, for me, as long as I keep my faith and belief to our creator and to the people that are able or capable to help me or to give a helping hand, and I never measure, I never give limit, or I never put uh, an end on it, as long as everybody is beneficial. And with this group, with the group that you created, um, I hope and I'm looking forward to learn more about this group and to be inspired more and to be motivated.
Yeah, we all need that because I also saw you in a lot of not really problems, but challenges, and I try to give better inputs. That's what I do to everybody, especially to friends who had sad experiences for the past 2 years. I try to become a conduit in giving them tips on having better jobs, giving them some contacts that they could at least analyze or they could at least deal with, or some sort of guidance also, so that things will be better. That's all. That's what I practically do to a lot of people, and also to younger people. Just a while ago, we were talking about the thesis of these young people from another school. So on Monday, we'll have round two, and hopefully, it's related to IoT. So that's good. I can help them understand what this project is all about, and they could defend and finish school. I have also some OJTs who are finishing school, eight of them this year. So good. And we have members here. I congratulated two of our members who are now engineers. So that's good. At least in our group, we have brand new engineers, and it's good. And it's a good mixture for everybody. Okay. So anyway, it's going to be 3 o'clock soon. So let's wind up, and hopefully in our next meeting by next month, we'll have more faces. So you try to invite also those outside or inside of our group to attend, so that we can hear much of their experiences, and also what do they think that this philosophy or this movement can help. Okay, and we spread the word around. Okay, Grammy. Before we end, anything parting words from you? So we'll ask the group to talk again. Okay, Grammy, what is it?
And nothing more from me this time. It's good to start, and yeah, keep on learning, keep on doing it. That's what it's about. Is actually living the Stoic principles rather than just talking about them. Of course, you've got to talk about them if you want other people to learn them. But that's I think the key thing is to encourage people to start incorporating things into their life, and it's about small steps. Don't start big. Don't try and start big. Just find small things you can do to start making improvements in your life, and then sort of and also helping others around you, but primarily work on yourself, make yourself a better person, show other people that you can do it rather than just talking about it.
You're muted.
Oh, yeah. Francis, it's your turn.
I
Final
just want,
words.
yeah, I just want to highlight what Sir Gravy just shared to us, that it is very important to build ourselves first before we help the others. So by building ourselves, we'll be able to, with maybe without us knowing, we'll be able to help the community by building ourselves.
Good.
Sir Gravy, I thank you for that word. It's very
Yeah.
inspiring.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's why he's here. He's guiding us. Okay. He's our senior mentor. And it's good that Grammy, were you assigned by our global group, or because you're kind of near, you're trying to take a look at us in Thailand and where else in Japan? Have you met them?
No, no. So basically, because I'll be coming back over in August, I was just having a look around to see if anyone was doing anything with Stoicism there, because I know there are Filipinos that appear from time to time in the different Facebook groups. So if you hadn't have started something, I was going to look at seeing if I could start something and try and find someone to run it over there. So you've
Okay.
saved me some work, but I'm
Oh,
happy to
no
help
worries.
out.
Yeah, it's always been part of at the back of my mind that then I told them that it's good timing because I have some spare time on the weekend in which I also teach. So after teaching, maybe I can create a group and do another round. So that's good. Okay, Darnell, your turn before we go to Ronald and Christopher. Darnell.
I'll just make this short. First, I'm very much thankful to be part of this group and to be invited by Sir Roy. And it's good to know you guys. And I hope to learn more about this Stoicism and understand this further. And looking forward to work with you guys in whatever future project that we have for this group. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
It will, it will, it will. Okay, Ronald, your turn.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me here in our group, and I'm just looking forward to be able to learn from each other, and also hopefully I could share something that others should also learn
Mhm.
from my story, or from my philosophy or beliefs.
Yes, yes. Okay, Kit, your turn.
First of all, I'm very thankful, Sir Roy, Sir Grimy, Sir Francis, Sir Ronald, and Sir Daniel. Grateful to be a part of this community and hope to learn, be motivated, and be a better person in the near
Yeah,
future.
that's it.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay, okay. Francis, you're already done, no? Okay na.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So it's 3 o'clock. So thank you very much. We've been very efficient with time. And then what do you call this? We will continue this by next month, and hopefully we'll go through a lot more of virtues deeper, and try to create some processes that we could at least assimilate and give back to our workforce, because everybody's working right now. No entrepreneurs yet, but sooner or later maybe we will become entrepreneurs too, and we'll try to help this through our persons that we take care. Okay, guys, thank you very much and have a long weekend. It's Labor Day on Monday. Grimy, is it still Labor Day also the same? You celebrate Labor Day on May 1st.
No, no,
In
not until October for us. So yeah, I've got one more holiday in June, and then nothing until October when we have Labor Day in October.
okay, so that's different. So you practice the Commonwealth Labor Day, the European stuff.
Not quite sure whether ours is our own one or whether it fits in with the UK, because we were originally a colony of England.
Yes,
So
yes. You
yeah.
follow that along with
Mm.
Canada, and also the Labor Day. Yeah, this Labor Day is partly from Europe, I think. May 1 is
Mm.
it's also a red day for Russia anyway. Okay, so guys, thank you very much, and we're ending, and then but this is not going to be the last. This is the first, and we will continue this as a group, and we'll try to invite more so that we'll have more ideas coming in. Okay. So, guys, have a happy weekend and see you soon. Okay. Thank you
Thank
very
you, guys. Thank
much.
you, guys.
Bye. Thank
Signing
you.
off.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
Take
good
care.
weekend. Bye bye.